Nintendo has turned Mario Kart into Tony Hawk. Well, actually, it's kind of more of a half burnout, half pro skater sort of deal, with the playable Peepa. The last few weeks, the release and discussion of both Mario Kart World and the Switch 2 has been driving me up the wall, literally. I've seen a lot of polarizing opinions and criticisms of the more linear track design, 3-lap tracks only in random select, an open world without player direction, $80 price tag, first new Mario Kart in 11 years, new console launch title, no stroll and stew. It's been a lot. Nintendo's gotten a lot of flack lately. So I'm here to figure out just what the heck Mario Kart World is and what Nintendo is trying to achieve with it. Is this Switch 2 launch title worth it? Is the first $80 video game worth the price of admission? What does McSpood think? No. The answer is no. No game should be $80. That's too high of a price to charge for literally any video game ever. But I guess I don't have much ground to stand on that stance since I, paid that price to play it. But aside from that, yeah, Peepa Kart's pretty dang good. So what I mean when I say this game is driving me crazy, I mean that I have no idea what Nintendo's trying to pull off here. Each game mode both works and doesn't work at all in tandem to the design ideas of each other game mode. Grand Prix has you do 3 laps on the first track, then drive to every other track and only do a single lap on that course, which mixes the philosophy of Knockout Tour and the versus race game modes together? And that's okay, that's fine, get a little bit of everything the game is trying to offer in one play session, but it doesn't satisfy the folks wanting classic Mario Kart or wanting the new style of racing. Versus Race Online is a gamble if you can get a 3-lap race or an intermission track. In offline or private lobby, you just pick whatever you want, dude. Run Dino Jungle 15 times in a row, you do you, queen. Can't really complain about that one. Actually, I can complain, because Nintendo updated the game to make getting a 3-lap race even more rare by changing how random in the racetrack selection works. So we have this giant open world to peek at the inner workings of racetracks so we can practice our 360 Supermans and reverse ollies on, and we have time trial mode to perfect said shortcuts we discovered before so we can B-hop wall bounce Flash Cat Superman to hit PBs. So the strength of making everything connected together doesn't actually matter too much game mode to game mode wise, because what you learn in one game mode can't be fully applied when changing to another mode because how restrictive the game mode selection is. It doesn't matter how much you practice in the open world or time trials because you're very rarely going to play on the map you selected for more than a single lap, which is strange to say the least. In a game where every single Yoshi restaurant has a different food based on its location on the map, and each character has unique costumes that fit along with said different locations, and it has Cataquack, it's just confusing that there are so many options for how to play the game, and that the game pushes the idea of everything being interconnected together, but those play options aren't actually fully connected into the world design. Okay, well, it is connected in the world design, but not in the game mode design, you know what I mean? And for real, I don't know what's up with Nintendo and food and costumes this past generation, but I'm completely for it, dude. I cannot wait to see what costume Wario gets when he eats dubious food.
Dubious little creature.
Knockout Tour is kind of the best example of utilizing all of the game's features. It focuses on the intermission races with some sections in the final lap going through traditional courses in a more Battle Royale style elimination race. A la more classic arcade racing games like Cruisin' USA or maybe, I don't know, Smashing Drive, I guess. The issue is that the game has created a staggering amount of content that's just not used at all for this mode. There are 8 Knockout Tour cups, each cup having 6 routes to get boomeranged at the finish line on, which means, Nintendo's using about 48 routes in the entire game mode. That's a lot. Similar in size to the number of standard racetracks, that's pretty good. There are 202 routes on the world map and 240,023 possible Knockout Tour routes in the game. Nintendo, what are you trying to do? You can't use the trick system to its full potential most of the time on A to B races, but you do get more of that 24-player burnout style carnage and chaos Nintendo's trying to cultivate. But on the ollie flip side, the traditional 3-lap tracks are so tightly designed and multi-layered, you do end up having tons of freedom of expression in how you play and race the track, which means you use the trick system more. But you don't see as much of that chaotic 24-player racing Nintendo's really pushing. pushing. Okay, when you get hit in like first place, you do still instantly fall back and find yourself surrounded by the Warboy pack, but you know what I mean. And I've seen a good amount of criticism and negativity for the game because of everything I just described. But honestly, I really don't think Nintendo wants this game to be like the old Mario Karts, or any of the other Mario Karts for that matter. I think this is something brand new entirely. If they're going to give you a massive sandbox, double the player count, 202 routes, 32 tracks, and a brand new movement system, they probably want you to use it, you know? And that's kind of where I'm stumped. Are all of these new features and additions and ideas really fun?
If it's not fun, why bother?
Actually, Reginator, that's kind of the problem. The game is fun, so I do bother. Yes, there are some wacky game design decisions. Yes, it's a console launch title. Yes, it's 80 Garuga bucks. And yes, I'm not going to talk about battle mode. Sorry, Battleheads. But man, the game's a great time. If the opening garden area of Mario 64 is supposed to be a little tutorial testing ground to have fun and learn the game's movement, then the open world of Mario Kart World feels like that castle grounds stretched to an entire game. Tracks are layered horizontally and vertically with alternate routes, walls, rails, random cars to trick off of, peach coins, regular coins, question mark blocks, and P-switches to find, details like backpacking toads, jaywalking Shy Guys, flying planes, sea creatures, snowy tires, the worms from Dune, trains, drivable vehicle power-ups, charging chucks, nabbit! Literally the world as you cruise around indulging in Nintendo's wonderland of whimsy and charm. Listen, for better or worse, Nintendo is somewhat turning into the Disney of video game companies, and while there is plenty to say about both corporations' monetization and copyright practices, it's really hard not to feel the magic in their games and films. Sometimes, not always, but when it hits pretty good, and driving around the Mushroom Kingdom feels alive and magical. But what's baffling to me is that the open world is both expertly designed and like not at the same time. I've never once been bored driving around. Just messing around with the driving mechanics is fun. Tricking off whatever you see and finding new ways to go through routes and tracks. I just soaked in the Mario world. But there's really not a ton to do. It's like Nintendo looked at Tears of the Kingdom that had the player be able to do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, with 5,000 different things they could be doing at any given moment. And then they reversed that idea and they made Super Mellow Kart World instead. Pretty good joke. Yeah, we'll keep that in. Sure, there's 400 PP switches and 300 Princess Beach coins and whatnot, but there's no tracker for what you found or haven't found. Nintendo deliberately didn't put one in because I don't know why. They saw Elden Ring do it and people get upset and they decided to follow that? I don't know. You can't think of the game like a checklist because Nintendo literally doesn't even give you the option to. You're forced to just engage with the world and explore it freely. It's like Burnout Paradise, but without the minimap. Okay, well the more Burnout style gameplay comes from the other game modes, and Paradise's gameplay loop revolves around exploration in the open world and finding collectibles to smash and races to do. Mario Kart World's gameplay loop focused purely just on that exploration, with a handful of Tony Hawk style challenge missions scattered around. While the B-Switch missions, or as I like to call them, the Bitch Switch missions, while the P-Switch missions are unique, fun, and can teach you many new tips and tricks about the game, they don't really hit nearly as hard or memorable as any of the Tony Hawk missions. Yes, Mario Kart World would be better if you were knocking over beer kegs and frat bro Yoshis, absolutely. But we can accept driving around cows too, that's fine. The free roam of Paul Blart Kart World offers a sense of serenity in a game focused on mass chaos pandemonium races. Not having any way to track collectibles is questionable to the more completionist style mindset of modern open world design philosophy, but it also forces the open world to be engaged deliberately on its own terms. And those terms being that of a playground, where you yourself make the fun with the environment around you. Which sounds bad when I say it out loud, but it's honestly not. Everything in the world is deliberately designed for you to be engaged with. Item boxes, random events, traffic, day-night cycle, grind rails, grind walls. Damn it! Everything in the world is placed and visualized in a way that invites experimentation in learning the game's racing system, routes, and tracks. And those skills you learned experimenting in the open world obviously transfer to the races and are applied both in the original tracks as well as the route tracks. Play the open world to get better with the gameplay system and relax, then apply what you learned into the races. Racing in Mario Kart World isn't so much so about going fast and racing good. I mean, it still is, it's a racing game, but it's more so about negating the dangers of the racetrack. Frequently looking behind you to see what people behind you have, paying attention to what's in front of you, tricking onto rails or over cars or onto other parts of the track to be safe. Sure, some alternate routes are slower than the main route of each track, but they're significantly safer. And I think that's where the big misunderstanding for Mario Kart World is. It's not just a racing game anymore, it's about survival now. Positional awareness is the new focus of Mario Kart. Seeing who's around you to draft off of, to boost mushrooms off of, or to avoid their attacks. Paying attention to alternative paths for safety from the war boys. Seeing what random traffic, mobs, or animals wander onto the track mid-race. Literally paying attention to your race position to know what items you may get. Some items now, like the coin box, gold shell, and lightning, give benefits to the entire race and not just you, via coins dropping for those around you, or anyone behind you also benefiting from the lightning hit. So sometimes you use your lightning and the people behind you who are bagging items may now blast past you, putting you in a worse position. You use your gold shell and get all your coins, sure, but you may have also given someone the advantage to win the race in the end. And maybe that charging Chuck in the corner throws a perfect spiral, pegging you in the head and making you go right. Mario Kart World plays fundamentally different than any other game in this series, and there's several new mechanics, features, and design decisions to support that change. I don't think we should judge World based on the previous games. We should judge it for what it is and what it's trying to do. And honestly, when you look at the game like that, with a different mindset on how to race, I think it's pretty dang fun. But I will say it's a little, not so grump that the game is missing settings, options, and statistics for the races and your playing time, which the game clearly tracks your data because there's a sticker unlocking system for your milestones. Not to mention turning off the minimap and options only does that for races, not the open world. Thanks Nintendo, I hate immersion anyway, I love that map in the corner. Once again, for whatever reason, the game is deliberately hiding this information from the player, like collectible tracking on the map or options and settings. I say that these lack of features may help immersing yourself in the Mushroom Kingdom, but honestly it's just straight up lacking quality of life improvements. Insert joke here. What? What the fuck does that mean? What joke? And unlike Burnout Paradise, it doesn't have the Obama billboards. Come on, Nintendo, how's my impressionable child mind supposed to know who to vote for? What am I trying to say with this video? What am I doing? Most character costumes have unique trick animations. Most Yoshi restaurants have signs and posters for the food they serve. Each cart has a different exhaust for how it boosts. There is a tremendous amount of content, and the tracks have multiple ways to play them, and the routes all have random elements to make sure they're always fresh. The open world, while simple, has plenty to see and engage with for exploration-driven players. Each item has special sound effects for being used and being hit by. There's comic book style sound effect text for certain items when they land, and in mirror mode that text is even reversed. There is 10 hours of music that covers renditions not just from all of Mario Kart history, but all of Mario history, period. Is it the best soundtrack ever? No, that belongs to Smash and Drive. The second best? That's Pepsi Man, but it's pretty close to third, not gonna lie. The music and the sound design in general is just astounding to listen to. And what I'm getting at by repeating all these little details and nuances is that there's a lot of love that went into the game. Love of Mario Kart, love of Mario, and love of decades of game creation. And just like Mario Kart 8, I assume Nintendo will turn World into a pseudo-live service game with content drops and ongoing updates, adding in those quality of life updates like stats and collectible trackers and more tracks, more cups, more costumes, more characters. Maybe ways to make your own cups since there's so many unused routes in the game. Custom knockout tours would go really hard, guys, come on. Maybe a way to unlock characters differently because I don't even have Peepa and the game's called Peepa Kart? Come on! Only time will tell if this game will be another decade-long venture of always being the top-selling Switch game game, or maybe it will remain how it is now and Nintendo will move on. Who knows? Who cares? Let's answer the video title. Let's finally answer the question. What is Mario Kart World? Well, it's the first Nintendo Switch 2 game. That's kind of cool. It's the first $80 game. That's something. First new Mario Kart in 11 years. First open world Mario Kart. And it's pretty chill. But I don't like the intermission tracks. In fact, I think the open world is pure slop. But there are some weird little places and stops to find in it. But can I cross the map in a straight line? Is Mario Kart World beating the straight line allegations? Is straight lines really how the game works?
This is my first glimpse of Mario Kart World and I'm having an aneurysm. What are you talking about? It's driving. It's like driving Jet Set Radio.
Was I wrong about straight lines in Mario Kart World? This Nintendo update just ruined Mario Kart World, and I care very deeply about Mario Kart World. The slickness of Mario Kart World. Why people are going back to Mario Kart 8. This is so fun, but it's too empty. Let's seriously talk about Mario Kart World. What is it with Mario Kart World's music? The hate is way overblown. I don't think I like Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World might be the best one. It's disappointing, and it's genius. Open world is a mistake. Mario Kart World kinda sucks, but it's the best game yet. It's joy. Mario Kart World is joy. And that's enough.